And today I've got with me here a special guest, and they go by the name of Reality Mental Health RMH channel. So please could you subscribe after this live stream, and I will put their details on the community tab after this live stream. So today we're going to start off by talking about, do you clean as you go along when you are cooking, or do you just let everything pile up and then wash up at the end? So, welcome, Reality Mental Health. What do you do?
Oh, hi. Thanks so much for having me on the show today.
Hmm.
So, what I do depends. So, on a good day,
Interesting.
yeah, I know. On a good day, it's a very interesting question actually. But on a good day, I will clean up as I go along
Mm,
because I don't like a big mess after
mm,
cooking.
okay.
And I think it's easier if you clean as you go along because things like washing plates and pots and pans, stuff like that,
Hmm.
it's so easy to rinse out when you
Hmm.
do it immediately. But the
True.
minute you leave it to dry,
Mm.
um, then it takes scrubbing. And I always say, like, I'm lazy, I don't like to scrub.
Yeah.
So I rather just get it done as I'm going along, and then you can sit down to a nice meal, and it's all
Yeah.
really nice. And
Yeah.
then afterwards, there's only a few dishes left to do. So
Hmm.
that's on a good day.
Let's hear the bad day.
Yeah, exactly. On a bad day,
Hmm.
I like, let's say if I'm tired, because obviously my channel's about mental health and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm always thinking about things that can help people as well, like when they're going
Hmm.
through mental health issues or something, or even just without a mental health issue, but just
Hmm.
being tired.
Mm.
Um, it's good to not put pressure on yourself because, like, okay, so I'm saying two things now. So on a bad day, I
Mhm.
basically will leave everything until the end. So I won't
Mm.
do any of the cleaning up as I'm going along. But I really don't like it because at the end of the meal, then there's a big
Mm.
mess in the kitchen.
Exactly.
And you're the woman in the house as well. It's like the men will
Yeah.
eat and then they'll go.
Yeah.
It's like I've just cooked. I don't want to have to clean up a big mess after we've just eaten as well. Like it
Yeah.
takes away
Yeah.
from the. But if I'm tired, I can't do it. I'm not going to put pressure on myself to be cleaning as I go along, plus cooking. So what
Yeah.
I'll do is I get a bucket of
Mm.
soapy water, and I
Mhm.
put
Mhm.
that on in the sink with warm
Yeah.
soapy water, and
Yeah.
then I put the plates and the knives and everything that I'm using, utensils and stuff. I just throw it all in there
Oh,
while I'm
okay.
cooking. So that will allow the things to soak, and then you just need to rinse them off afterwards. Rather than what I don't like, as I said, is I'm lazy. I
Mm.
do not like to scrub. So
Yeah.
I will wipe down tables and I
Yeah.
will put plates and pots and pans in hot soapy water so
Yeah.
that it doesn't stick. And that actually reminds me, on my channel, I have done a video on like how to clean when you're depressed. So when you
Yeah.
don't have that energy, what are
Yeah.
the like tips and tricks that you can do that will
Mhm.
help you to clean up quicker? Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, that was a bit of a long answer.
I think it was a good answer. Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. If you have just joined, please don't forget to thumbs up this live stream. And we are talking about, when you are doing your cooking, do you generally tend to wash up as you go along, or do you leave all the washing up to the end? So Reality Mental Health RMH has explained what they do when they're cooking, and as for my perspective, I
Mm-hmm.
find it stressful. I actually find
Mm-hmm.
it stressful to leave everything to the last minute,
Mm-hmm.
do my cooking, and then do the washing up afterwards. I
Yeah.
find that stressful because I need a clear surface. For me, clear surface is
Mm-hmm.
clarity. Even as I'm cooking, I'm cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
I'm washing up everything as I go along. And I
Mm-hmm.
normally do prep before I start cooking as well, depending on what I'm cooking. Like if I'm cooking a stew,
Yeah.
um, maybe I'm cooking a chicken stew or a meat stew, I would um tackle the vegetable side of it first
Mhm.
before I
Mhm.
go on to the meat, washing the meat. That'll be the
Mhm.
last thing I'll do. And
Mhm.
yeah, I generally tend to clean as I go along. I don't think I've
Mhm.
ever, because I know what you were saying, like on a good day you do this, and then
Yeah.
on a bad day you do the other thing. But
Yeah.
for me, it's just one.
Yeah.
I just clean as I go along. There's never leave it all to the end and then wash up to the
Mm.
end.
So even no matter how tired you are, you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
soldier your way through.
yeah, it's the same.
So
Yeah.
prep work is a good thing that you just mentioned. Do you want to
Mm.
say a bit more about that? Because I think prep work can, even though it's about cooking, it can still also help with the cleaning.
Yeah, well, in terms of like cooking a stew, it consists of, well, it's an African stew. It
Mm-hmm.
consists of like a lot of tomatoes and then onions, peppers, bell peppers, Scotch bonnet. So basically, I'd wash all of those first, chop them up, put them in the
Mm-hmm.
blender, and then I would go on to washing the meat or the chicken
Mm-hmm.
separate. um, yeah, I tend to cook them separately as well, which probably would be faster if I put one in each pot and do it at the same time. But I kind of find that stressful as well. I think I prefer to do one thing at a time, but everyone's different. But
Mm-hmm.
I definitely find the prepping helps a
Mm-hmm.
lot before cooking. Yeah.
But
What do
if
you
you
think?
do, yeah, if you cook if you cook things one after the other, then doesn't that mean that your cooking time is a lot longer?
Yeah, in terms of cooking a stew, yeah,
Mm,
it does make it a bit longer. But if I was
mm,
cooking, let's just say I've already got the stew, chicken stew's already there. Let's just say I'm cooking rice and plantain as well. That could be done at the same time. But then,
mm,
you can have rice, rice on one,
yeah,
the stew on another, and then
mm,
the plantain on another.
yeah.
But as you're frying the plantain, then you need to go and wash the rice.
Oh,
So you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
be
yeah,
careful, and then it becomes stressful, and then you're like, oh
yeah.
no, the oil's overheating, or it could be overheating, or need to turn it down, and then oh, I need to wash the rice, and it's a lot of back and forth. That could become stressful.
Mm,
So
hmm.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
everyone's different.
yeah, yeah. If I was making plantain, I'd definitely do that separately and at the end
Yeah.
because I like it nice and crisp.
Anyway, I'm
This
no
is
chef
making
in
me
the
hungry.
I'm no chef in the kitchen.
Mm.
Um, I think that kind of nicely goes on to the topic of should you wash your meat before cooking? That's a
Oh, yeah.
great debate that has been going on. Have
Hmm.
you heard of it?
Um, I think I've seen your video on how to wash meat. So I
Hmm.
think you did a
Hmm.
really good video on
Mm.
how to get clean. Please don't ask me how you're
Please
meant to
don't
do
ask
it.
you
Don't
what.
ask me to remember how you're meant to do it. I think do you boil it first or something? But anyway,
I
there's a
think that's
video that
yeah,
you did on it that I watched quite a while
yeah,
ago. So
yeah.
yeah,
That is
you can
one.
go and have a look at that, guys.
Yeah, that is one method, boiling it
Mm.
first, but that wasn't my method.
Oh,
My
okay.
method was soaking it in salt
Oh
and
yeah, that was
warm
it. That was it.
water. Yeah, letting all the food, because they say it's not blood in the meat, it's food coloring. So all that
Yeah.
red, whatever it is, it rises to the top of the pot, and then you can easily just rinse it out. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, like you said, I'll put that video on my community tab at the end of
Mm-hmm.
this so that you can see how to wash your meat and make it all nice and clean
Mm-hmm.
so that, well, in my mind, it would prevent, a lot of bacteria and stuff. But I'm going to read you what I found online about should you wash your meat before cooking. So I'm just going to read a few things that I found here.
Can
And
I just
then,
say before you do that, I was going to say
yes,
that it's a good point that you made that washing
yes,
your meat, you're
yes,
actually washing out the food coloring
yes,
because I didn't know that it was
yeah,
food coloring. I thought it was blood, but you're
Yeah,
saying food coloring is just not good for you anyway. So
right.
if washing it with salt helps to get rid of that, that's fantastic.
Oh, thanks for that.
Yeah, well done.
So, thank you. So I'm going to read out what I've seen. Should
Yeah.
you wash your meat before cooking? And then I'm going to ask you, what do you think about this explanation of what I found online?
Okay.
So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Should you wash your meat before cooking? And it says the answer, no, you should not wash your meat before cooking it. Hmm.
Mm.
And I'll tell you what I think after.
I
And
think
then
a
it
lot of
goes,
people don't.
I know, right?
Mm.
And then it goes, the consensus from food safety experts is that washing raw meat, poultry, or seafood can actually increase the risk of foodborne illness by spreading bacteria around the kitchen. And then it
Mm.
says, here's a summary of the key points. Okay,
Mm.
so it says the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service
Mm.
recommend against washing raw meat,
Mm.
poultry, or seafood before cooking. Washing
Mm.
meat can splash juices containing harmful bacteria like
Mm.
Salmonella and E. coli onto
Mm.
nearby surfaces,
Oh.
utensils, and other foods, leading
Mm.
to cross contamination.
Oh.
Do you want to say something?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm just shocked. I'm just a bit surprised
I'm shocked. I'm
that they're
shocked.
saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so carry on.
Okay. So then this is the uh, proper cooking to the recommended safe internal temperature is the best way to kill any harmful bacteria present in raw meat. Washing does not effectively remove or kill these pathogens. And I'm like, what?
Mm.
Really?
Mm. I mean, that might scientifically be right.
Yeah, but logistically and logically, when you see it in front of you, you're like, oh no, I need to wash this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, okay. And then it goes on to say some cultures may traditionally wash meat, but food safety guidelines have evolved, and
Mm.
washing is now considered an unnecessary and risky practice. Like,
Mm.
seriously, risky to wash meat.
Mm.
Okay.
This is
Let me
taking it
read.
a bit far.
Yeah, I think so. And then it goes, the only exception may be rinsing fish to remove loose scales or rinsing meat if it has visible dirt or debris. But in general, washing raw meat is not recommended. What?
Mhm.
So
That
then
goes
it goes,
against, yeah.
go on.
No, that just goes against, like they said, different cultures do different things. So it goes
Mhm.
against a lot of different cultures, I guess.
And then it says, in summary, the consensus from food safety experts is that you should not wash raw meat, poultry, or seafood before cooking. Proper cooking is the best way to kill any harmful bacteria present.
Mm.
Washing can actually increase the risk of foodborne illness by spreading bacteria around the kitchen.
Mm.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
in my perspective, I'm thinking to
Mm.
myself, and that's the whole reason why you've got surface cleaner, no? You got Dettol spray, you got antibacterial wipes. So I'm thinking
Mm.
to myself, why would I be more worried about what's on the surfaces of my sink and that
Mm.
when I can wash my meat
Mm.
and I've to like if you watch the video I actually made
Mhm.
and you see all that gunk and food coloring and everything that comes off of it, you'll be like,
Mhm.
yes, I need to wash my meat. So I'd
Mhm.
rather wash something that's directly going into my body. And then
Mhm.
that's the reason you've got antibacterial spray, you've got antibacterial wipes to wipe
Mhm.
down your surfaces. So to
Mhm.
me, I don't think it makes logical sense. But to the
Mhm.
scientists, they're
Mhm.
more worried about surfaces, kitchen
Mhm.
surfaces. Let me know in the comments section if anybody's there. What do you think? What do you make of this washing your meat before cooking and not washing your meat because you fear of the bacteria from the meat jumping onto your surfaces, like your sink and your work surfaces? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Yeah, we'll read out your comments. Yeah, what
I
do you
think,
think, reality mental health?
yeah, I think I can kind of see where they're coming from because
Really?
with, yeah,
No!
yeah, you sound right.
Go ahead, go on.
That's so funny. I didn't expect you to be so shocked. Yeah, I can see. That's so funny. I can see where they're coming
Okay,
from a scientific perspective,
okay,
because bacteria
okay.
it's when the meat is raw and it
Mm-hmm,
has the bacteria, or meat or
mm-hmm,
poultry or
mm-hmm.
fish, when it's raw, that's when it has the bacteria that can
Okay,
spread the
okay,
diseases like salmonella and
okay,
etc.
okay.
So if you put that thing directly into whatever it is you're cooking, then the heat is what kills the bacteria.
Right.
So washing meat doesn't actually
Mm-hmm.
kill bacteria. It's
Right.
still, if you wash it, there will still be bacteria on it, which
Okay.
will then get killed when you cook it.
Yeah.
So their point is there's just no point of you washing it, because then you're increasing the risk that the bacteria is going to go elsewhere in the kitchen. And even though you've got your Dettol and you can clean up and stuff like that, it may still, I don't know, be there. You might miss a spot, basically. And
Yeah, but
especially like going back to the thing that we were talking about earlier, if you're someone who
mm,
cleans up after you finish cooking and everything, then you've got potentially got raw pieces of juice from the meat that you've washed lying around.
right,
So
right.
then there's risk. And then also, if you've got children and they're touching surfaces and stuff like that, there's also risk. I actually haven't thought about it this way. I do wash mine
Yeah,
before cooking. But
yeah,
you remember I was saying, like, do you boil it before washing it? So maybe that's a way that you could do it. Like, you could just boil it and then wash it after. But even after you've boiled it, you don't need to wash it because all the bacteria is dead at that point.
yeah.
So what do you think?
I think that the method of boiling
Yeah,
before, like, if you've got a piece of meat and you put it straight into the pot and boil it immediately without, just put water in there and then boil it
yeah,
without rinsing it first or anything like
yeah.
that. It, yeah, if you see what happens to it when you put it on the stove, actually see all the gunk, I call it gunk, and all
Yeah,
the just kind of cringy stuff that comes out of
that's
it.
the whole point, isn't it? That's what the
Yeah,
boiling does. It
yeah, it's
kills all the
brilliant. Yeah,
bacteria.
it's actually brilliant, the boiling
Yeah,
method as well.
yeah.
And also the salt in warm water method
Mhm,
that I showed in my video, that
mhm,
is really good to get rid of the food coloring, all
mhm.
that red stuff that's supposed to, I mean, that looks like blood. I don't, what's
Yeah.
it called? Meconium or something. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that
Okay.
red stuff comes off easily. It literally
Yeah.
just floats off. But in essence, I don't feel like I'll be wanting to eat that. Apart from the bacteria side, I don't think I'll be wanting to eat that food coloring. That's why I
Mm.
always rinse mine off. I wash mine off.
So you sorry. So you think that if you just boil it immediately, that the food coloring won't come out when you're boiling it?
The food coloring won't come out if you're boiling it.
Mm.
Oh, what if you just put it straight on the stove and
Yeah.
then you boil it?
Mm.
Um,
Maybe you can try it.
Maybe.
Maybe you could try, like, boil it with salt.
I don't think yuck because I wouldn't
See
know.
how it, and and then and then you take it out of that water, which will be the dirty water, and then you now do whatever cooking you were planning to do with it after you've done that process. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because
It might be interesting to
I
experiment.
don't think I would boil it with the salt water on the actual stove because I feel like that salt is gonna evaporate into the meat. I don't think I'll do it like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Mm,
That's true.
I don't think I'll
Well,
do that.
I guess, what do you think? Just be
Oh,
careful
okay.
when you're washing it then.
I've been corrected. It's not called, what did I call it? Myconium.
Yeah,
That's not the correct word. I think it's called myoglobin. Is that
I
correct?
can see the chat. Mhm. Mhm.
Who knows? Maybe I'm
Um,
doubly wrong. Don't quote
hold
me on
on.
it.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Because I've got it here. It says the red liquid is water mix, a protein called myoglobin. I don't know.
Okay.
Weird.
Okay. What? So is it food coloring?
Yeah,
What do
it
they
is.
mean by
That red,
water mix?
pardon?
Did you say they say it's a water mix?
I just I just don't know. I think so. Do you know why they make it red like that? To make it look fresh and to make it look palatable, because because normal red blood, if it was really blood and it had dried, blood normally turns brown, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they put a special kind of food coloring on it to make it look red and fresh. I think that's what they normally do. Yeah.
That is kind of deceptive.
You're very deceptive.
You
I
know
think,
when you
yeah.
go, when you go and you're buying meat and you're like, oh, I
Yes.
want that one because it looks the
Yes.
reddest, and you
Yes.
think that it's the freshest.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of not nice. Putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So, any last thoughts on what we've discussed today about cleaning before or after you're cooking? And in any more thoughts on washing meat or not washing meat?
Yeah, so I think having after having this discussion with you, it sounds like even if you're on a bad day, maybe it
Mm,
makes sense to kind of clean as you're going along when you're cooking, so, to reduce the stress of
mm,
having a dirty kitchen at the end. But
mm,
if you really can't do it, then hot soapy water
mm,
in a bucket in the sink can help,
mm,
because then you can throw utensils and stuff the pots in there
mm,
so that they don't get sticky
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
yeah, hard to wash, that to avoid scrubbing. And then washing meat, I think I think the jury's out on that one. I don't know. So you're saying wash it with salt and water. That helps to get rid of the colouring. I definitely want to get rid of anything
mm,
artificial in my
mm-hmm,
meat. So
mm-hmm,
get rid of
mm-hmm,
colouring is a good
mm-hmm,
idea.
mm-hmm,
Um, FDA is saying that if you wash meat or poultry or fish and it's raw, that it's a risk of that there is a risk of you
mm-hmm,
spreading the bacteria around the kitchen, such as,
mm-hmm,
and then spreading diseases like salmonella. Your
mm,
point to clean as you go along, use your Dettol, which gets rid of bacteria, is also a good point
mm,
as well.
mm,
So I think, I don't know, jury's out. It depends on how you like to cook, how your meat turns out once you've done these things to it, like when you've
mm-hmm,
taken the colouring out,
mm-hmm.
that cooked meat is going to be different to
Yeah,
cooked meat that you just cook without washing, and that will be
yeah,
different to cooked meat that you make after boiling. So
yeah,
it just depends on what you
yeah.
like. But if you are going to wash your meat, be careful and don't splash things around the kitchen. That
Yeah.
that's what
Oh,
that's what I take from it. What about you?
ah. Um,
Any last
I
words?
I think I will continue cleaning as I cook
Mm-hmm,
and not leaving it to the last minute, because then the place just looks like a tip basically. And then for
mm-hmm,
me, cleanliness, clarity, you know,
mm,
clean work surfaces, it just makes everything less stressful to me. I don't
mm-hmm,
find cooking a stressful experience when like the surfaces are clean, the tables are clean, but
mm-hmm,
everyone's different. And I will continue to be washing my meat
mm-hmm,
before cooking it. Yeah, I don't think I could ever have a piece of meat and like literally just take it out of the packet or from the butcher's and start frying
mm-hmm.
it immediately, just like that,
Yeah,
without washing it. And I
yeah.
think Who knows? It might be a cultural thing because we saw our parents washing meat and they also
Hmm.
made us participate in washing meat growing
Hmm.
up as well. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, just to clarify, I would never just take it out and fry it. Never.
Oh, that's what the most of the chefs do. That's
Yeah,
what the most.
no, no. There has to be some sort of cleaning process. Either boil it first or wash it with water or wash it with water and salt or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's.
me, there has to be
Mhm.
some sort. Yeah, but if the cooking was like boiling it and making it into a stew, that's when you
Mm,
think, does it really need to be washed? Because you're gonna boil it and then you'll take it out of that water anyway. So, and then let's say if you were gonna roast it, then
mhm,
why do you need to wash it? Because basically the boiling is the washing of it.
mhm,
But if
mhm.
it's like a steak that you're gonna put on a frying pan,
Yeah,
yeah, can't just take that from the bag, put it on the frying pan. Well,
I've seen a
some
lot of
people
chefs
do,
do
but
that. Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen a lot of
I
chefs
I
do
wouldn't
that.
do that.
And
Mm.
that's probably what they're doing in most of high class restaurants as well. That's what the chefs are doing.
Mm,
They're taking
mm,
the meat out. Some it could be
mm,
straight, but they're probably buying bulk anyway. Straight from the
mm,
butcher, straight onto the frying pan. No cleaning
mm,
process, no washing process. I've seen it
I
a
don't.
lot. They fry it immediately.
I
Yeah.
think because they're frying it immediately, they can't really wash it as well because water and oil doesn't go together.
Right.
It'll be popping everywhere.
Right.
Mm. Interesting
Very,
conversation.
very, very, very interesting. And on
Mhm.
that note, I would like to thank Reality Mental Health RMH channel for joining us today as a special guest. Please, if you haven't come across their channel, please check out their channel. I'll put it on the community tab after this. And also on my community tab will be that video about how to wash your meat. If you haven't already seen it, please check out that video. And anything else?
No,
Last.
no, that's great. Thank you so much for an interesting conversation and thanks for having me on your show today.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for tuning into this live stream. And hopefully, we'll do a few more of these. And please, next time, feel free to interact with us in the comment section if you so wish. Once again, thank you, everyone, so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a pleasant morning, afternoon, or night, depending wherever you are in the world. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.